Hello guys and welcome back to another video. In this video I'll be demonstrating Flask. So Flask is nothing but a web framework for Python like Django. Django is also a web framework for Python for building web applications and micro web services from Python as backend. So in this video, I'll be showing you how you can create a simple app route in Flask and generate a simple home page with certain links and images within it. So it will be like a starters for those who want to get into Flask, into web development using Python, can begin from this. So first of all, you need to download Flask. So if you are from Windows, Mac or Linux, whatever the OS may be, so you just need to install Flask. So for that, uh, you can use this. So this is a simple command pip install Flask, and you are ready to go with it. So just give it a read, and it will be better if you give it a read and know how it works and things like that. So the first step is install Flask in the machine you're working on. Then create a folder, uh, main folder, and give it a name, and then create subfolder. So with Flask, Flask works with the folder structure for CSS or HTML files. It works with the folder structure. So for CSS files and static files like images, it is stored like this in this format, and with CSS, it is stored like this in a static folder. So there is a folder structure. If you There's a folder structure required if you start working on Flask, right? So this is my folder structure, the basic folder structure you can begin with. It is very important. So if you begin with Flask, please do this, or you'll get some or any other error while compiling the program. So next is the choice of the editor you use. And in this case, I'm using a VS Code. You can either use PyCharm or whatever suits you better. For my case, it's PyCharm, sorry, VS Code. So the main folder which I am right now is in Flask, basic Flask app master, right? This is the main folder of mine. Within that folder, there is two more folders, that is static and template. Within static, there is CSS folder and images folder. So work in that hierarchy, which is more understandable to Flask as well, because Flask works in a folder hierarchy. If you just randomly put images and files within the main folder, it won't get it. It will be giving you more errors. So please follow this. And this is my main Python file. So initially you need to import from import Flask and render template. So render template is something that which is used as inbuilt to render a page or an external HTML page which is stored in an external folder. So in my case, templates is the folder, and within that folder, index is my HTML file. So I'll just come to the HTML portion in a bit. Let's just first get into the Flask app. So this is a decorator. So in this case, decorator, if you have a bit knowledge of Python, decorator is something that which provides functionality to existing functions. So there are two routes main. So one route is empty and one route is providing an information with home. So even if you don't provide a route like specific home, it will get to the default and show you the page. So there are two options. So like if you hit home, the output will be provided. So with each route, there is a function associated. So on that uh, route, if you trigger that route, that function is also triggered. So in this case, index is my function and it is returning a HTML page, which is as first argument, it is a HTML page as an first argument, which is this index.html, and render template is an inbuilt function which returns a page. So if you are using VS Code and if you hover upon these functions, you will get a small description about what actually the um, a module works and how what that specific function does. So in this case, if you hover on render template, you'll get this output. App.flask is something that initiates, or it's like a building block of Flask. You need to initiate the Flask into a variable. It is not necessary to always be app. You can give whatever you want. It is just a variable storing the Flask initiator. That's it. And this portion is something that is like a main function which runs your entire application. So app.run debug through. So it is in debugging mode. So you can opt for that too. So this is the simple basic route, home and simple slash, and this function it returns the index HTML and the title is home page for that. So the index element HTML has a title home page. So it is like an argument. It entirely depends on you how you want to provide it. Now let's move on to the template part. This is the HTML file which I'm working with. So this is the entire HTML file, and there is a CSS file attached to it. So this is a CSS file app.1. So when it comes to Flask, you just don't directly give a link like dot dot home directory slash the folder in which the CSS is. With Flask, you have to work accordingly to the way Flask want to, right? So this is the approach. This basically converts your entire Jinja templating format into a link that in backend, but in the front end you have to work accordingly to the Jinja templating format. So URL for static, so it will always look for a folder called static. In this case, our folder is static, and within that file name CSS and HTML app. So within CSS, it will look for app.css. So this is how URL works when you attach some external style sheets or external images to a home page or whatever page you want to render. So this is how you can link external style sheets or images within a page, right? So this is our head, this is a home page title, this is a basic HTML page. So within body, this is my tag, h1 tag, and within that body I have two images. So like I said, if you want to render an image into a page using Flask, you need to work accordingly to the folder structure and the properties that Flask uses. So in this case, if you want to render an image, this is the format, and it will look for images within these folders. So as you can see over here, car1 and car2 JPEG, it will look for static, and within this and within that images slash car JPEG, right? And I have provided a link to that images too. So I'm just unclosing the entire image using a link. So I'll just show you the output and you'll get a better understanding of it. And going bot going down over here, there are two divisions, that is P1 and P2. It is almost similar. This is some random text, so don't just associate that image with that text. It is just a random test I've just generated, and these are two H3 tags within that division, and Yep, even that page tree has been unclosed within an anchor tag. So this is how you can create a page in Flask. So the main purpose was to show you how you can use external style sheets and external images within Flask. So you can't just simply provide the path and render the image. You have to work accordingly to the Flask methods. So this is how you can do it, and I'll just show you the output. So to run this main route.py, open the main folder in the terminal. First of all, export flask underscore app is equal to routes.py. Okay, so this is the first step you initiate to run a Flask server. So this was done. Now if you want another option, you can do it as this development. So basically it will choose an environment NV. So this is the second part. Enter. Now you can just type in Flask run. So the development server will be started. Now you can just control and click on this localhost. So this is the output. This is the page rendered. These are two divisions, and yeah, two divisions with links with tags. So I'll just show the CSS file, static CSS in app, right? So this is the basic structure of CSS. Body, I've given this color. The two divisions which I've given to the paragraph is this P1 and P2, and I've just given color white. That is the least simplest thing you can do with CSS for just a simple demonstration. So this is my CSS file, and yep, this is the output. This is how you can render a page. So these are two images with links. So if you like click, it routes you to the google.com. Similarly, based on your preference, you can route it to any other page. Just for demonstration, I've just selected google.com. So this is how you can simply create or render a page within Flask. This is the output, guys, and so as you can see over here, there is no route specified, right? Like if I type home, so in our case there were two routes. One, it was empty route, and the second was /home. So both gives you the same output, /home and even the empty one. So now it might be clear that what this two specific route do, right? So this is how you can create a simple Flask app and render it on a browser. And the code will be available in the description. If you have any queries and concerns, you can comment down below, and you can try to implement more things to this page. You can create more routes, and based on that you can customize based on your requirement. So this was a basic and the least example for a beginner to get into Flask, get into uh, uh, web development using Python. Another great module or a library used with Python is Django. So Flask and Django are almost similar, but Django is more preferable when it comes to bigger and larger applications, right? So we'll get to Django as well in future, but for time being we'll stick to Flask. And so the code will be available in the description, and you can provide your suggestions and upgrade to this code. Feel free to ask any questions, and yep, uh, in the further videos, in the future videos, we'll try to create more robust applications like to do app, and how to request a JSON data, and render it on a page dynamically. So those examples I would like to cover it. I will cover it in the future, so stay tuned for those videos. And yeah, thanks for watching guys, and stay tuned for the next.